Hello students. So now we'll be discussing the answer keys and solutions for the CET Biology test which you had written on 5th of May. So here uh, in the part 1 we'll be discussing the first 15 questions, and these first 15 questions are from the chapters Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. So we shall see one by one. So the first question, one of the most resistant biological material is. So here the options given are lignin, hemicellulose, lignocellulose and sporopollenin. So out of this we know this sporopollenin cannot be degraded by any of the chemicals or even acid or alkali, any of them cannot degrade. There is no enzyme which can degrade sporopollenin. So because of this reason, we can consider sporopollenin has the resistant biological material. And this we can see in pollen grain. Which layer of pollen grain? Exane layer, the outer layer. Then the second question, which one of the following is a fruit? So we know how the fruit is formed by the process of sexual reproduction after double fertilization. So this ovary will become fruit. So this we know, right? And inside ovary there will be ovule. These ovules will become seed, right? If we take this ginger, potato, radish, all these three are the modifications. So these modifications are done mainly to store food. So although we consume it, although they are edible, they are the modifications of root and stem, but it is not the product of sexual reproduction. In case of lady's finger, the ovary becomes the fruit, and even we can see the seeds inside it. So this we consider as fruit. Then third question, polyembryony occurs commonly in. So polyembryony means, so inside single seed, mature single seed, we can see more than one embryo. So that condition we call it as polyembryony, and generally this polyembryony we can see in citrus fruits. Then chasmogamy. So chasmogamy means what? So here the flowers with exposed stigma and anther. That means the male and female reproductive parts are exposed, right? So here the options flowers remain closed. So this cannot be the answer. Flowers are absent again. No, all the angiosperms will have flowers. So this is not the condition. Flowers open, yes. So here the anther and stigma will be exposed. And gamopetalous means here the petals are fused. So it doesn't mean chasmogamy. So this is also the wrong option. Then fifth question, when pollen grains are not transferred from anther to stigma in a flower due to barrier. So because of the mechanical barrier, even though the flowers are bisexual, pollen grains of the same flower cannot land on the stigma. Okay, why? This condition we call it as hercogamy. Heterogamy means, so there is formation of gametes, male and female gametes, which are dissimilar. That is heterogamy. Cleistogamy, the flowers which are closed. Dichogamy, there is no synchronization in pollen release and stigma receptivity. That condition is dichogamy. Then sixth question, these plants flower and fruit only once in their lifetime and die after fruiting. So this condition we call it as monocarpic plants. So generally these plants, they will produce fruit and flower only once in their lifetime. Okay. Polycarpic fruit in the sense they will produce flowers and fruits many times in their life cycle. Vegetative plants In the sense, the plants which will undergo vegetative reproduction. Okay. And then seventh one, which of the following is not a water pollinated plant? So the examples are clearly given in our NCERT book. So here Zostera, Vallisneria, Hydrilla, all of them will undergo water pollination. Cannabis will not undergo water pollination. That will be the answer. Then growth of pollen tube towards embryo sac is. So we know when the embryo sac is developed, okay, and then the pollination happens, the pollen grain will land on the stigma. So once it lands, the pollen germinates and there is formation of pollen tube. And that pollen tube has to enter inside the embryo sac. So to enter, there is filiform apparatus. So this filiform apparatus, this will be present in synergids and they will guide the pollen tube entry. So how they will guide? They will release some chemicals. Because of that chemicals, pollen tube will be attracted. So here the answer will be chemotropic. Chemotropic means the movement towards the chemical. Then ninth question. The part of gynoecium that determines the compatible nature of pollen. That means, so if we take gynoecium, the three parts are stigma, style and ovary. So out of these three parts, which will determine if the pollen is compatible or incompatible? That is the question they are asking. So out of this, the stigma is the landing platform and the stigma will determine whether the pollen is compatible or incompatible. Then 10th question, the female gametophyte of a typical dicot at the time of fertilization. So your female gametophyte means it is embryo sac. Embryo sac is considered as a female gametophyte. And the mature embryo sac, we know it will contain 8 nucleus. So it is 8 nucleated and it has 7 cells. So it is 7 celled and 8 nucleated. So the answer will be option B, 7 celled. Then 11th question. How many meiotic divisions are required for the formation of 100 functional megaspores? So how these megaspores will be produced? We have to look into it. So this megaspore mother cell, MMC refers to megaspore mother cell, so which is diploid in nature, and one single megaspore mother cell will give rise to 4 megaspores. And this occurs by the process of meiosis. And out of these 4 megaspores, only one will be functional. One will be functional and the other 3 degenerates. And this one functional megaspore, they will give rise to embryo sac. Right? So here what they are asking? How many meiotic divisions are required for the formation of 100 functional megaspores? So by this, what we had understood, by one megaspore mother cell, there will be formation of one functional megaspore. That means for 100 MMC, 100 functional megaspore will be produced. Okay? And how many meiosis? Even for 1 MMC to produce one functional megaspore, one meiosis. For 100 MMC to produce one functional megaspore, 100 meiosis. It's very simple. So here the answer will be option A, 100. Then which of these is a condition that makes the flowers invariably autogamous? Invariably autogamous in the sense, so there is no other chance of pollination, other means of pollination. The pollination has to be autogamous, that is self-pollination. And which is that condition which is making the flowers autogamous invariably? So again, the same line, this is given in your NCERT book, and also if we had understood the topic, it is cleistogamy. In cleistogamy, what happens? The flowers remain closed. That means flowers do not open at all. So when the flowers do not open at all, there is no other way to entry of the pollen grain from other flowers. So there has to be self-pollination. Answer is cleistogamy. Then 13th question. The portion of embryonal axis between plumule and cotyledon. So we know the above portion of cotyledon, we call it as epicotyle, and this epicotyle terminates in the plumule. Plumule is the future root. That means later on during the development, it will become shoot. Then 14th question. Stigma of a flower is removed before pollination. Okay, the flower will. So here they are saying the stigma is removed. So we know when the stigma is removed, stigma is a landing platform for pollen grains. If the stigma is removed, there is no one to receive the pollen grains, right? So after the receiving of pollen grains only there will be formation of pollen tube, and the pollen tube will enter, then double fertilization happens. So here, since pollen grain is only not landing, so the further process will not happen. So here the answer will be option B, not form fruit. Then non-essential floral organs in a flower are. So in the flower we have four whorls. Out of that, sepals. So the whorl is calyx, and then corolla is the other whorl. Corolla consists of petals, and then we have androecium, and we have gynoecium. So out of these four whorls, the last two, androecium and gynoecium, they are the reproductive structures. So they are considered as the reproductive whorls. And the first two, the sepals and petals, so they are not involved in reproduction. So they are considered as accessory whorls. And the other name for accessory whorls is non-essential. Non-essential whorl. And the other name for reproductive whorl is essential. Why it is essential? By the name, meaning of the term essential itself, we can understand. They are required for the sexual reproduction to continue their progeny, right? So sepals and petals are the non-essential whorls. So the correct answer will be option A. So the other questions from question number 16 to question number 30, you can see the solutions in the part 2. Okay, so please find the video and understand. Yes, thank you.